People are going to finally learn that South Africa is God's country. And when you mess with God's people, it's not going to end well with you. It's going to be something very uncomfortable. You will be exposed. I think that's the word I'm looking for. You will be exposed. Now, when the so-called xenophobic attacks began, Ghana was all over the place, wanted the world to see how much they care about their people. They put them in aeroplanes, two of them, and shipped them out of South Africa, creating a sense of urgency, emergency, like, oh my goodness, our people are getting killed in South Africa by South Africans because they become savages. And then came Nigeria. Nigeria was like, oh, we're not going to be outdone by our neighbor. And then also, boom, boom, boom. But it's not the government. You must realize with Nigeria, it was not the government that took that stance. It is a private company that hired Peace Airline and shipped out 268 illegal Nigerians, just like the 1,000 Ghanaians that were shipped out of South Africa, all illegal. God exposed Nigeria and Ghana for messing with his country called South Africa. Right now, Nigeria has, in my opinion, it's no longer going to be repatriating anybody back to Nigeria because there is an active attack on Nigerians. Active attack, according to them. And they're supposed to be evacuating their people. They are not evacuating them. Instead, they're saying, oh, the repatriation has been delayed. How do you delay the lives of people when they are in danger? So is there danger for Nigerians in South Africa? Has there ever been danger for Nigerians in South Africa to begin with? That question, you and your honest conscience will answer it. As South Africans, we're saying, we told you. All that South Africans want is illegal foreigners to leave South Africa. Illegal foreigners, because they come with a whole lot of problems. And these problems that they are coming with, we've had enough. We have had enough. It doesn't matter where you come from, West Africa, you come from SADC, you come from East Africa, you come from Central Africa. As long as you are in South Africa illegally, we've had enough. You've taken a lot away from us, especially our loved ones. Our loved ones, you've taken them away from us because you know you are not in the system. You break into our houses wearing absolutely nothing to cover up because you know that even if the camera spots you, what are the chances that the authorities are going to catch you? Where's Mr. Moyo? Yeah, the guy that shot and killed 2 South African police officers. Where is he? He shot them in broad daylight. 2 police officers. And South Africa must keep quiet, say nothing about things of this nature. Not a South African in this country would ever imagine shooting a police officer, let alone folding their fist against the South African police. But we've seen that with illegal foreigners. First of all, you come to South Africa illegally, and then you have the audacity to even open your mouth. The audacity. And then your governments, they come guns blazing and calling South Africans all sorts of names. They never acknowledge, not once, how their people have been living amongst us for decades. They keep talking about businesses. What businesses are you talking about? There is no Nigerian in South Africa that stands on the streets from morning to dawn that is doing legitimate business in South Africa. None. But no, there are business people, according to Nigerians. Business. Killing the children of this country. It's called a business. Now, this video is not necessarily about that. This video is about something that I think South Africans are not paying attention to. And it's slowly beginning to reveal itself. Remember, South Africa is God's country, and God is exposing these things that decided we are going to lay low, but we're also going to be loud at the same time. In recent days, we've seen Pakistanis coming out in full ANC colors, speaking, I don't know, what's the language spoken in Pakistan? Pakistani, let's just put it that way. Which, number one, goes to show that they disrespect South Africa and they don't see South Africa for them to assimilate. South Africa is an English-speaking country with multiple languages that they could have chosen to speak in that video. But if you look a little bit closer to that, it's not even proximity to power. It is power itself that they managed to get in South Africa. The Pakistanis have infiltrated the ANC, the governing party. And the reason why they are telling South Africans straight on their faces about the 30th of June, we are not going anywhere. They are right. Because they got the protection of the ANC. Now, where I come from, I was always told to follow the money. Follow the money, and you will see why Pakistanis wearing ANC regalia, telling other Pakistanis that are naturalized and also, of course, ANC voters to vote for the ANC. Because they were at their voting station, and you know, at the voting station, you will have political parties or with their gazebos to come in so that you can check in the voters' roll if your name is there or not. So clearly they had gone to register to vote. And when they were done registering to vote, then they came to the gazebo of the ANC, and hence we have that video now where the Pakistanis are campaigning for the ANC, but specifically speaking to the Pakistanis that are naturalized. So what does that mean? It means the power that we know has been taken by the Pakistanis. The Pakistanis are demonstrating to you that you can huff and puff all you want about the 30th. The governing party says we are going nowhere. And then you have to look at another community, the Somali community. The Somali community, they are playing a long game, these guys. It's a smart and a long game. And this game is like a rat that bites and blows. They are quiet but loud. Recently, the leader of the Somali community, the one that was, they say it's not inauguration, whatever it was that was being done in Sandton in May, said, well, the government has not given us a date to leave South Africa. So if you are zooming a little bit closer to that statement, because he further says, we are protected by the government. So they are not approximated to power like the ANC, how the Pakistanis are doing. No. The Somalis are part of government. Hence, they are saying the government is protecting us. And then one has to say, is the power that belongs to the people of South Africa usurped by the government? For us to be told by people that are supposed to be here temporarily that they are going nowhere, because the power that be, they are part of it. And it's not going to do anything to them. Is that how I'm understanding this? Because, if you ask any Somali or Pakistani, even Bangladeshis, they are unmoved or shaken by South Africans. They're looking at us as these people that are just buzzing around and making noise. They are the power. And since they are the power, allegedly we can't do anything about it. That is why the other day I asked the government to tell us about the Somalis. As a matter of fact, Cyril Ramaphosa needs to take South Africans into his confidence and tell us about the Somalis. Because I'm telling you, out of all the groups that are here in South Africa, Somalis pose the greatest threat. The Somalis pose the greatest threat. And this is not just in South Africa. Listen to the Western world as well. They've managed to penetrate into the American government. When I say they've penetrated the US government, they are now inside Capitol Hill. Capitol Hill is the equivalent of Parliament here in South Africa. They are inside American Parliament. They are making laws to American people. And that's exactly what they want here. Like I said, they are playing a smart and a long game. Now, while they are playing this long game, like nobody's business. And they've realized that it's not going to be children born out of a Somali to a Somali. That one is useless because the law says if it's Somali to Somali, that child is not a South African. The child has to be a South African. So therefore, they're going for South African women. So they have us by the balls. And our power is being usurped. That is why you had the Minister of Police nonchalantly threatening South Africans, not once taking accountability for all the mess up that this government has made. They are not addressing the issues of illegal immigrants in the country, but instead they are threatening the victims of illegal foreigners. Those are South Africans, people that voted for them into power, which goes to show that our power as South Africans has been usurped. There's no minister that understands that the boss is South Africans who speak in that manner about us. I even saw a very disturbing interview. Somebody sent it to me. I think it was Newsroom Africa with Olim Gambi. Olim Gambi asking a expert, I think it's a police expert by a Dr. De Kock or something like that. And Olim Gambi asked a question about when will the South African government make an example. Mind you, De Kock has been saying all the wrong things, but which I'm going to get to. When will the South African government make an example about organizers of marches when a march goes south? Yet the organizers of March and March and Insizwa and all of that have been saying it loud and clear as Shaimund, as Bulalimund, as starting nothing from anybody. But Olim Gambi found it in his heart to say that they need to be held criminally liable and set an example. And this question that Oli asked emanates from what Dr. De Kock had said about marching or protesting in South Africa. He says, in South Africa, protesters must register their protests with the authorities. And in my head, I'm like, does Dr. De Kock aware of a court order that South Africans don't have to tell you that today we are protesting? They don't have to, because protesting is enshrined in the constitution of this country. Nowhere in the constitution says this is the process to follow to go demonstrate. So once again, the cock is speaking like a dictator and saying, no, they must register. Because when you register a march, the municipality can make a decision. Number one, municipalities are taking money from the Pakistanis and the Somalis and all these illegal foreigners to stay in South Africa. And when you want to come and protest in the same municipality, do you think they are going to approve of your march? No. So that is taking away the constitutional right for South Africans to protest. And then Xoli Mngambi says, when will South African government make an example? Because dictatorship has crept into South Africa and the media wants it promoted. Nowhere where Xoli Mngambi says, without infringing on the constitutional rights of protesters. We know that peaceful marches get infiltrated. The very same government that is threatening protesters that are peaceful, whose leaders have been telling the protesters, we are not looting. We are not going to be beating nobody. We are not going to be committing crimes. We are not coming when you do that and you get arrested. We're not coming to support you. They've been saying that. But no, Xoli Mngambi wants them punished for daring to exercise their constitutional right. I'm so disappointed in him. I thought he was one of the best journalists in this country. I'm utterly disappointed. But then again, why? Mainstream media hates South Africans. Mainstream media hates South Africans. Now y'all want us to register our constitutional right to protest peacefully. And what do you think our so-called visitors are doing? Of course, they're getting very happy. They might probably calling this person, hey, how much do you need? We need more of you in these TV stations. Because you are saying the right things. And I think the press conference, and I hope I'm wrong with this one, I really, really hope so. But by the reaction I'm seeing from South Africans, they are pissed at Cachalia for threatening them. I don't understand this government, honestly speaking. Honestly speaking, yes, do your anticipations, do your due diligence. I support that. I support the 600 million rand that has been allocated so that come the 30th and beyond, there is nothing that will now leave us counting the costs. That includes lives, that includes businesses, the economy, and things of that nature. Because we don't support violence. I don't, personally. I don't care what the excuse is. I do not condone violence. I do not condone stealing of people's properties. I do not condone crime. Otherwise, why would I be sitting here and speaking about illegality of people that are here illegally if I supported illegality? But I think the government that we have is not smart. It is so out of touch with South Africans. They don't know how to speak to South Africans. That's because you guys never come to us. You never come to us. The only time you come to us is when you want our votes. You don't know what we think, how we feel, what we want, what we need. That's why you speak to us anyhow. And you forgot these are South Africans. South Africans, you don't speak to them anyhow you want. It will end in tears. Now you're throwing threats at South Africans. So what are South Africans supposed to do with that threat again? Fold. You don't know South Africans clearly. I don't know if you're hearing South Africans. Kuyophela ama-bullets. Let me loosely translate that. The bullets will finish. What do you think that means? Because you've provoked South Africans to that point where they are saying this. Instead of saying, South Africans, we understand your situation. We know as government we fucked up and now we are trying to fix this. But no, you have a president who says, well, if we only want documented people. Who will take you serious talking like that? Where's the oomph? These people come from war-torn zones. Some of these people come from coup d'etats, military coup d'etats, where orders, when you speak, you have to speak with authority. And they understand. But when you're like, oh, sheepish and, yeah, we just only want people that are documented. And if you are undocumented in South Africa, you have committed a crime. And this is a president. No authority, no assertiveness, no militancy. You are not dealing with South Africans. That's how you speak to South Africans. All humble, and because that's how you speak to us. But you are speaking to a whole different animal that come from a whole different zoo that needs to be spoken to in a different way from how you speak to South Africans. But then again, it all circles back to one that is playing a long game, but already in government. Hence, they are telling us they ain't going nowhere, legally or illegally. While the other ones are saying, to get the power, you need to go where the power is, Luthuli House. Fellow South Africans, I don't know. I think there needs to be a discussion. Honestly speaking, how do we take our power back? But Ramaphosa owes us answers about Pakistanis, about Bangladeshis. They come from Asia. They're not Africans. We are not obligated to them in any way. These two nations. Then in Africa, the Somalis, they don't consider themselves black or Africans for that matter. Same goes with the Ethiopians. They don't consider themselves Africans or black for that matter. But they are right here in a country that is 80% black and African. What do they want from us? There's no war in Somalia. When are they going back? I know we're not going to get answers to this, but fellow South Africans, the power is in your hands when you vote to cut out all of this that I just spoken about. And taking back our power is by removing the ANC. Inqume emsileni. Nip it in the bud. And the problem is half solved. Ngoba dibanengane, they got kids. Now what do? You look at the Constitution. How do we isolate these ones? Because they will be taking orders and influence from their fathers to enter and take away what they failed to do. That's what African countries are doing, by the way, in their constitutions. Ivory Coast went on a 10-year-long civil war because the presidential candidate that won the elections was half Ivorian and half, I can't remember which other country, I think Benin or something, Togo. And Ivorians are like, but the constitution say you need to be a full Ivorian. That means both your parents, your grandparents, and great-grandparents, and their great-grandparents must be Ivorians. Every country does that. Why should South Africa be the exception to the rule? So we change the constitution and be specific. No ambiguity, so that there's a loophole to interpret. Close it. That is why in my submissions for the constitutional review, I'm very specific that South Africa belongs to natural-born South Africans. The last time I said third generation above, no. I said fourth generation and above. Because the third generation, you must remember, in 1994, we already had Nigerians in South Africa. And they have that generation of children. No. Fourth generation and above. That's unreachable for anybody that has children that are non-South African, have children with South Africans. They do not qualify. They do not qualify. And now be specific. What don't they qualify? And part of that is running for public office of any kind. Working in military, working in police or security cluster as a whole. So that we can protect the sovereignty of the country and we also protect the national security of this country. And the ANC that is supposed to be running this country, these are the things they're supposed to be thinking about and stopping. But no, they are in bed with the enemy. Oh, they don't know that this is the enemy just yet because they're too dumb to realize. Anyways, fellow South Africans, I gotta go. I need to do some few things. And we shall pick up on this conversation a little later because we need to have this conversation. This conversation needs to be had and we need to make a decision as South Africans. How do we take back our power? And I do believe in the ballot. I think the ballot is the best place to change things. Removing the ANC from government and governance as a whole will save South Africa. Anyways, I'll see you later, guys. Enjoy your Tuesday. Goodbye.